That camera, that GoPro started though.
I got it going.
Rotate that to where it's in line with the tubing. What that does, I come in here and I'll show you.
There, you can.
There ain't room for all of us in here. That's
You go, Chris. You hold it down there.
what that does. That's the macerator pump.
Okay.
And that dumps a holding tank when you're in legal water. Get over here where you can see if you can. That's a spring-loaded button. You got to hold it in. When that valve is open, if your holding tank is full and you're legally where you can dump your holding tank, and you don't have to go to some dumbass marina to have it pumped up.
Now, you have to have that valve turned off when you're...
We do, because it's slightly below the water line.
Okay.
Now, when you're up and running on plane, it's above the water line.
Okay.
But when you're just, going around, so we keep it turned off. But
Can you show me that real quick, Bill?
yeah.
All right.
See that ball valve in there? The handle is pointed up now.
Yep.
If you rotate that handle forward until it's in line with the tubing.
Yep. Like it is now.
That opens you to the macerator pump overboard.
Gotcha.
Then there's a spring-loaded switch in this closet to where you engage the macerator pump.
All right.
And that just empties your holding tank. There's storage behind this mirror. So we used to keep tools and stuff like that in there.
Tom, you want to see that button? For that?
Yeah, where is that?
Here you go.
It's on the bottom.
In that closet. Come around, and it's right here. See it?
Gotcha. Yep. All right. And that button, is it press and hold, or is
It's
it?
a press and hold. You got to hold it. It's spring loaded off.
Gotcha.
So that you don't accidentally walk away and leave the pump running forever and burn it out. You got to stand there and hold it.
All right. Can you hear it whenever it empties
yeah,
up?
yes,
you can hear it whenever it. All right.
When you first energize it, it'll be pumping air, and then when it picks up the load, it'll slow down, and then when the tank is empty, it'll speed up again. So you can hear it.
All right.
Now, if the engines are running, your ears have got to be a hell of a lot better than mine.
Okay.
But if the engines aren't running or they're idling, you can hear it. But if you're at power and you decide to dump it, I can't hear that damn pump. But you guys are younger than I am, so who knows? This is the switch right here. You don't have to step on any pedals or anything like that. But now what you're doing is you're putting it in a holding tank. Because the overboard valves are closed, because the Coast Guard on this coast, and I imagine your coast, are just hell. What they do, and they've done it to us twice in the last year, is they board you and throw an orange dye in the head and flush it. And if there's any orange dye around your water, you're in a heap of trouble, boy, because you're not supposed to have overboard drain capability open on this coast inside the 3-mile limit.
Okay.
So, underneath your feet, Tom, are the valves necessary to take it overboard, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
I just leave it on the holding tank. That's why we put the macerator pump in and the ability to dump our own, dump it ourselves.
What's the other switch here next to that one?
That was a fart fan, which
Oh, okay.
didn't work when we got the boat.
Okay.
I don't even know where it is.
10-4. Right.
Oh, you know what? I'll bet it does work too. I'll bet it's off on the electric console back there.
Okay.
I'll go back and check. And the shower's in here.
Okay. Anything particular about it? Just
No,
on
it's,
and off?
you know, single handle control. There's a light up there.
Okay.
And, you know, soap and stuff like that can be kept in that locker. And, you know, various storage and stuff like that. I fill the water tank for you. The tank holds 90 gallons. Originally, when the boat was new, it had a 100-gallon tank in it, but it was
That's right. I
aluminum.
remember that. Yeah, you changed it. Had to change it
Well, it
out.
was aluminum and it went bad, so it's got a polypropylene tank in it now, which, because we didn't want to gut the whole cabin, we're only able to get a 90-gallon tank in. So it's 90 gallons,
How large is the holding tank?
50. That's the air conditioner control.
Okay, and there's one or two of them?
There's 3.
3. Okay. And this one runs.
This cabin and a forward cabin.
Okay. All right.
Now, in the instructions I gave you, this forward air conditioner, you got to turn it on, let it run for about a couple minutes, about a minute, and then shut it off. And that's in those instructions that were up at the house.
Okay.
The guy said he could fix it by putting an accumulator in it and a bunch of other stuff. And this was 16 years ago, and they'd only charged us $1,900 for all that. But the previous owner told us, turn it on, on cool, let it run for slightly less than a minute, turn it off.
Okay.
Turn it back on again, turn it off, same thing, and the third time it'll run. That seemed to us to be more reasonable than $1,600 17 years ago, and it works fine if you do that. Now the one up there, the 2 in the salon, you just turn them on and let them run. The guy said the problem was there's one compressor in the back and 2 evaporator units. There's a unit here and a cooling unit in the front, and you need some giant accumulator and God knows what all to stop that problem.
But you're flipping the switch immediately after. Just let it run for a minute, then flip it
Yeah, it's
off,
a push
then
button.
Okay. You don't have to wait at all between.
Hit cool. You know, you got to wait. You hit
Wait.
cool. When the fan comes on, I turn it off. Here, I'll show you. Cool. Now, the compressor just came on. I heard it. Gets way in the back. Now the fan started to come on and I shut it off. So wait 2 or 3 minutes and just do that again, and it'll run. Like I say, that's what we did, rather than put an accumulator and God knows what all he wanted to do in it. All kinds of lights. Lights under here. Disposal's in there. The stove works.
Okay.
You can only use either the burners on the top or the oven. That's what this switch does. You can't use them both at the same time.
Okay. Is it marked on it?
This is what this switch is here. It says stove or oven.
Gotcha.
One or the other. In the middle is they're both off.
All right. This is electric.
Yeah, electric.
Yep. All right. Holding tank gauge here, or is this?
No, that's water tank.
Okay.
There is no gauge on the holding tank. That's
All right.
a water tank.
Right. All right.
Is this just the fuse for the windlass here?
Yeah, that's the windlass switch, and there's a fuse in the back of it.
Gotcha.
So right now, I think it should be on. Is it up?
It's up, yep.
Yeah, that's on.
Is there one up top too, or just the one
There's
down?
a stomp switch up top. You can retrieve it from the deck. On the bridge, you can raise or lower it with a remote, with a control.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll go through all that stuff.
Okay.
So that switch thing.
Yeah,
Right.
that just shuts it, turns it on and off. You always want to leave this pin in when you're underway.
Okay.
Because if you hit a wave the wrong way and the door opens, I guarantee you it'll be all over the deck.
Right.
Been there and done that.
Switch is over there on the on the panel for this, or is there a switch over here?
No, it's over there. Everything's over there.
All right.
We just let the refrigerator run, but I mean, it's up to you. That doesn't do anything anymore. That's part of the old entertainment system.
Oh,
It was speakers in the front, but they don't work anymore.
gotcha, okay.
Ice maker, it should be on. Yeah, it is. There's ice in there. This is the booze system in here.
Have to make sure that
We need to
works.
make sure,
Bottles
yeah.
go down there.
Any
They're all
magic
in
to
this,
it?
in this, no, they're all in that bottle of water now.
Okay. Is there a on and off switch for it, or?
Yeah, they're right here.
Okay. Just we can turn it on and.
Yeah, and push whichever button you want.
Gotcha. How many selections do you have?
5.
5 different kinds of booze?
Yeah,
Perfect.
whiskey, vodka, something else, and something else. I think the Scotch one doesn't work, but
That's right.
microwave works.
Is this your inverter here, or what is this?
That is the inverter readout, and the dude above it tells you got 85 gallons of water left in the tank. There's a meter down in the engine room that meters how much water you're using.
Okay.
So that tells you how much water you got left.
Now, is this the same tank as that gauge over there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We just put that in just for the hell of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
This tells you, this is there's a big book on the inverter, how you use it.
All right.
And in addition to that, if you're going to use it, the inverter controls are right there. AC does not mean air conditioning, it means AC power in. And you got to be careful with this inverter. You really want to read the book before you use it, because if you make a mistake, you're going to blow out the resistors in it. That's why that's there. It will carry, if you're up and cruising, it will carry a refrigerator and the lights is about all it'll do. Because if you try to put any more load on it, then it's pulling more out of the batteries than the engines can put in it, than the alternators on the engine can put in. So we use the inverter going to the Bahamas to run just the refrigeration, because if nobody's in the cabin, hell, we don't run the generator or the air conditioner. This is your direct, your DC power, everything that you turn on this panel is out of the batteries. You got 2 AC panels,
Which is out of the generator.
or the shore power if you're plugged in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this switch is, you're on shore power, off, or you're on the generator.
Okay.
You can start the engines from down here.
Okay.
You really want to be careful doing that. I'll show you, I'll get into that when we go up on the bridge. That's the generator. On, off, and all that good stuff. The 3 bilge pump switches, you can run the bilge pumps down here. FPS is a fuel polishing system. I'll show you that in a minute. If I'm going too fast, guys,
No,
tell
you're
me
good.
tell me slow down.
We're
Because
recording, so we can rewind.
I've been doing this forever. While we're at it, I guess we might as well talk about the fuel polishing system. I gotta. Oh, and let me show you one other thing. This is a mistake. Let me interrupt myself. You don't want to make. If you're sleeping somewhere like in a marina, this lock is okay, but a 10-year-old kid can get past it. Flip that over when the door's all the way closed, and they won't get past you. But I got news for you. If that gets flipped over and you're outside,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna break something to get in. So. polishing system. Now, we want to spend some time here and record this because this is very important. Red is your port engine. Port wine is red. So red is your left side. Green is your right side. If these two valves right here are engine supply. Okay? If you want to, say, clean the fuel in the port tank, you're going to close this valve. You just shut the engine off. You're going to open this valve and open this valve. Now what you're doing, what that does, is you're bypassing the engine. You're pulling fuel out of the tank, running it through this system, putting it back in the tank. You're cleaning the fuel, and it's got a timer on it. So right now I'm pulling out of the left tank, going through this system and putting it back in the left tank. And you can do the same thing with the other engine. Now if you screw up and say, gee whiz, I'm going to go for a boat ride, and let's say you've been cleaning fuel on that tank, and you forget to put these two back in the off position and open this one, the engine will start and it'll run for probably long enough to get you away from the dock, because that's the size of the fuel filters. You're draining the filters. And then it'll quit because you're running out of fuel. And I'll guarantee you it will be a son of a bitch to get it running again.
Prime it again.
Because you got to get that humongous filter filled up with fuel and everything else. So if you're cleaning, we clean fuel always at the dock, because the system isn't set up to let you